Hi everyone, my name is Eva Gardner and today I'm going to be guiding you through a 30-minute beginner Vinyasa flow. So settle in, get your mat, get your water, and let's get started. So we're going to begin with some breath work and seated meditation, get our mind calmed and relaxed and in the space to do some yoga. So we'll take a comfortable seat wherever is comfortable for you, whatever calls to you. We're going to sit long through the spine, extending through the crown of our head, and we'll slowly bring the eyes to close. Now let's take a couple deep breaths, clear out any old energy before we begin. Deep inhale through the nose. Big open mouth exhale. Let's do one more of those. In through the nose. Big open exhale, let it go. Now we can begin to settle in. Let everything slow down. Let the moments from today slip away. We'll tune our focus into the present moment. Start to let our awareness kick in. Start to make simple observations about what's going on right here, right now. How are you feeling today? How do you feel physically? How does the body feel? How are you feeling mentally? How does the mind feel? Where are the thoughts right now? Take a deep breath. Inhale. Exhale. How does the breath feel? How does it sound? We'll attune ourselves to the present by becoming an observer to our own body. Start to take a mental inventory, a scan over yourself. Make those observations. We're not making any judgments, just simply observing. Next, we're going to shift the focus to the breath. Specifically to the breath. For now, we won't change anything just yet. Just bringing the focus to that breath in this very moment. Now, as you breathe, start to deepen your breath. Start to really extend each inhale and each exhale. Breath is our vitality, our life force, and it is directly correlated to the brain and the nervous system. So when we breathe deep and intentional, we nourish the nervous system. Since our breath is directly correlated to that brain, as we control the breath, we begin to learn how to naturally self-soothe and control the nervous system, soothe the nervous system. And as we bring the focus to that breath, this will aid in our meditation, helping the mind naturally still. Thoughts ever start to wander during this practice, you can always shift the focus back to the breath. Now, as we're breathing deep, we'll begin to start to balance out each inhale and each exhale. Maybe you even count the seconds of each inhale and exhale. In doing this, we will begin to relax ourselves and balance the energy poles within our body. A few more breaths just like that, balancing each inhale and each exhale, filling up the lungs with the inhale and emptying them with the exhale. Now, if you haven't already, you can seal the lips. Begin to try to breathe solely through the nose. And doing that will aid to activate our Ujjayi pranayama. It will help us build heat from the inside out, or tapas. So as our lips are sealed, we'll start to create a slight constriction of the throat. Start to make audible sounds, almost sounding like ocean waves. In Vinyasa, we use our breath to guide our movement. So our breath will be very important throughout this practice. Let's take 3 more breaths with that Ujjayi pranayama, building up the heat. Our last breath together. Inhale. Exhale. Next, we're going to slowly roll right ear to right shoulder. Begin to roll out the head and neck. And move through left ear to left shoulder. Move back and forth. And start to work your head and neck all the way around, making circular motions. Don't forget to switch sides, switch direction. And finally, we'll meet back facing forward. We'll slowly blink the eyes open. We'll move to our movement portion of this practice. So we're going to begin in a tabletop position. So we'll move kind of on all fours, stacking all of the joints. Knees are hip width distance apart. Knees are under the hips. Wrists are under the shoulders. To take some movement. We're going to move into some cat and cows. So with your next inhale, we're going to drop the belly, lift the gaze, contract the shoulder blades back for cow pose. For cat pose, we'll arch the spine, push into the palms, tuck the chin. Inhaling for cow pose. Exhaling for cat. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat. Let's do one more. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. With your inhale, come back to a neutral spine. And you can start to take any movement that calls to you in this moment. You can move through some cat-cows with your own breath, or if there's any other organic postures that are calling to you, you can take this time to move through that. Just waking up the spine, getting some movement in there. Maybe we roll out the hips. Releasing back and forward. If it feels good, maybe you flip the wrists, stretch them out in circles. At this moment, take what you need. This is your practice. No one knows your body better than you do. So take this time to listen to the messages your body is sending you. As always, feel free to modify this practice in any way you see fit. Let's take one more full cycle of breath in this movement, and we'll meet back in that neutral spine in tabletop. Once we reach our tabletop, we'll take a deep breath in and curl the toes under. With your exhale, we'll lift the hips, push into the palms and the feet, and push back to downward facing dog. It'll take some time to settle into this pose. Pedal out the feet. Push into the palms, push your hips up and back. And let your heart melt towards those hips. Take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. Your next inhale, we're going to shift our body weight forward to a high plank. Again, you can always take this on your knees as well. But we're going to push the shoulder blades away from each other, push into the palms. We're tucking the tailbone, drawing the navel into the spine, engaging the core. Lift the hips 1 inch higher than you think they should be. Take an inhale. With your exhale, push back to downward dog. Sink your heels towards the mat. Inhale, come forward to high plank. Exhale, downward dog. Push the heels towards the mat. One more time. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Sink the heels down. Take a breath in and a breath out. With your next inhale, gaze towards your fingertips. With the exhale, we'll slowly walk up to meet our hands. Feet are hip width distance apart. We'll take an inhale. With the exhale, we're going to fold forward for a ragdoll pose. You can clasp each elbow, rock side to side, or you can simply just let go. The head and neck are heavy and hang. Now you can straighten your legs for a hamstring stretch, or you can bend them for a release in the lower back. Whatever feels good to you in this moment. Have your elbows clasped, switch your grip. I'm going to take one more breath. Inhale. Exhale. With your breath in, we're going to plant the palms. With the exhale, heel toe the feet to touch. Your next inhale, we're going to slowly begin to rise, bending the knees to protect the low back. Slowly, one vertebrae at a time. Our head and shoulders are the last to come up. Once you reach the top, roll the shoulders back and roll them forward. Your next inhale, reach the fingertips high up to the sky for a mountain pose. With our exhale, bring hands to heart center for standing prayer. So this is an engaged pose still. Our feet are together. We want to tuck the tailbone, squeeze the glutes and the legs together. Lift through the chest, bring the navel into the spine. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. Take an inhale and an exhale. If you'd like to create an intention for this practice, now is your time. Maybe there's something you already have sticking out in your mind. Start to visualize that intention as if you already have it. Every breath, pose, movement will be an extension of that intention today. Now we'll get started to our sun salutations. So with your inhale, we'll sweep the fingertips high for mountain pose. With your exhale, sink all the way down for forward fold. With your inhale, we'll come up to halfway lift. We want a flat back. Shoulder blades are contracting back. We want to squeeze them together. And if our hands need to be higher up to be able to do that, maybe they need to be on the thighs, that's okay. Take an inhale. With your exhale, we're going to plant the palms and step back to high plank. Now there are a couple options here for your transition. First, you can take knees, chest, chin. So we drop the knees. We're going to shift forward, sink down, drop the chest and the chin. You can take a chaturanga, which from high plank, you want to shift forward onto your toes and then bend the elbows back, sinking down to your stomach. So those are two options. Once you do that, on your next inhale, you can come up for cobra pose. So our hands are planted beside us, and we use the core and the back muscles to lift the chest. It doesn't have to be super high, but we don't want to be pushing through the palms. You should be able to lift your palms once you're in your cobra pose. So take your inhale. With your exhale, we're going to curl the toes and using our core strength, push back to downward facing dog. Now take a breath in and a breath out. Your next inhale, you're going to look towards the top of the mat. With the exhale, we can step or float up to meet our hands. With our inhale, we'll come up for that halfway lift, flat back. With our exhale, forward fold, draw yourself into your legs. Next inhale, root to rise, mountain pose, sweep the fingertips high. Exhale, forward fold, hands through heart center. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, plant the palms, take your transition to downward facing dog. Inhale for low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take another breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, gaze towards the fingertips. Exhale, step or float to the top of the mat. Inhale, take your halfway lift, flat back, contract the shoulder blades. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, mountain pose, root to rise. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, plant the palms, Step back to high plank, take your transition. Inhale, low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. We're gonna go through that one more time, and then we'll do some stretches. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, step or float to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, mountain pose, root to rise. Exhale, forward fold, bring it back down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the palms, step back to high plank, take your chaturanga. Inhale, low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. And breathe. Take 3 resting breaths here, full cycles of breath before we move on. Next, we're gonna move to half pigeon, which is really deep hip opener stretch. So there's a couple options for this pose. I'll run through the first option. With your inhale, you'll reach your right leg high, and then with the exhale, we'll bring it all the way through and set it up at about a 90-degree angle. So lining up, we want right knee to right wrist and right ankle to left wrist. And once you're here, you can stick a block or a pillow underneath that hip for extra support, or you can start to push that left leg back, sinking down. Now you can stay on the palms for one option, or you can surrender and fold forward. Now that is our first option. Second option is to take this pose supine. So from our down dog, we come forward all the way through to a seat and down to our back. This is a good option for those who the first option doesn't feel good or the hips are really tense and sore. This is a little bit lighter version of that option. So we'll grab the right ankle, cross it over the left knee. We're going to flex the right foot to protect that knee. And if this feels good, you can stay here. Otherwise, if you're looking for a little bit of a deeper stretch, you can bring the hands and clasp them behind the left knee and begin to draw inward. From here, you can begin to find some movement, or you can stay still. Again, listen to the messages that your body is sending you, and do what feels right. Do what feels good to you. We're going to be here for a little bit, so settle in, get comfy. And if the thoughts begin to wander, bring the focus back to the breath. Start to take 3 more breaths in this posture, full cycles of breath. There's no rush, you can go at your own pace. And in those 3 breaths, find one part of your body. Take that scan. Find one part of your body to soften. And send those breaths to that part to allow it to relax a little further. When you finish those last 3 breaths, you can begin to find your way back to downward facing dog. So if you're on supine, maybe you roll up and step back. You can take any releasing measures to release those hips. Maybe you pedal out the feet. Maybe you take a 3-legged dog, open up the hips. Maybe you circle the hips around. Just a couple options to get some relief from that intense hip opener. Once you're back to downward facing dog, we'll try the other side. So take your option. If you're inhaling, you're lifting your left leg high and bringing it down. We're lining up now, left knee to left wrist and left ankle to right wrist. If you're taking a supine, we're coming all the way through, down to the back. We're going to cross the left ankle over the right knee, flexing the foot, and possibly even drawing in on the back of that right knee. So again, take what you need, take what feels right in your body. Begin to take those last 3 breaths in this posture. And in those last 3 breaths, find that one part of your body to soften. Send those last 3 deep breaths to that part you want to relax. And release a little further. When you finish those last 3 breaths, we're going to find our way to a seat. So we're going to move to a simple seated forward fold. So our legs are extended. You can always put a bolster or a pillow of some type underneath the knees to bring more of the focus and releasing to the lower back. Or you can straighten them for more of a hamstring stretch. You can also place a pillow or any item to support you as you fold forward if you wish. This is intense, but with our inhale, we're going to lift the chest and the arms. With the exhale, we'll fold forward, reaching towards our toes or as close as we can get. We're going to take 3 breaths here, and then we'll move on. Deep inhale. Deep exhale. 2 more breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Last breath. Inhale. And exhale. With your next inhale, we'll slowly begin to rise back up. With our exhale, we're going to use our palms to help guide us all the way onto our back. Once we're on our back, we're going to move to bridge pose. So we're going to bring the soles of our feet up towards our seat. Arms can lie down at the sides. Once we're here, we're going to take a deep inhale. With the exhale, we're going to push into the soles of the feet, lifting the hips, activating that Mula Bandha, that pelvic floor lift. Now this is an engaged pose as well, so we're slightly tucking the tailbone, drawing the navel into the spine. We're going to push the hips up and squeeze the glutes, also actively drawing the knees in towards each other. So take an inhale, take your exhale. Gonna do 3 more breaths. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Last breath, you got this. Inhale, exhale. 1 more breath in, And with the exhale, slowly roll the spine back down onto the mat. As you reach the bottom, you can take some windshield wipers to release. So we just bring the legs back and forth. And we'll meet back in that neutral pose. We're going to extend the left leg. We're going to bring the right knee into the chest. We'll move to a supine twist afterwards. And we do have two options here as well. So for one option, right knee into the chest, take an inhale. With the exhale, use that left arm and guide that right leg over the left side body. Our right shoulder is still connected to the mat. If you would like to use a pillow or a prop to rest your leg on. And if you want to engage the cervical spine, you can engage to the right. If this is too intense for you, you can also bring both knees into the chest. Bring the arms out to a T and simply drop both of your legs off to the right or left side. Again, right shoulder is still planted. So whatever option you choose, taking a light twist. Take 3 more breaths here. Inhale. Exhale. Breath in. Breath out. Last full breath. Inhale. Exhale. Going to take 1 more breath in. With the exhale, wherever you are, you can slowly begin to roll back to center. We're going to re-extend that right leg. Flex and point the feet a couple times. Next, we'll move to the left side. Whatever option you choose, you can either draw the left knee into the chest, use that right arm to guide it over the right side body, or both knees into the chest, drop them off to the right. Again, if you wish to engage that cervical spine, you may gaze left. So take whatever option feels good for you and settle in. Settle into your twist. Start to take those last 3 breaths here. Inhale. Exhale. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Last breath. Inhale. And exhale. Take 1 more breath in. With the exhale, begin to roll back to center. We're going to re-extend the legs. Take a full body stretch, reaching the fingertips up above your head and pointing the toes out in front of you as if you were to touch each side of the room. Take an inhale. With your exhale, draw both knees into the chest. Begin to rock side to side. Roll out any last tensions you may have. With your next inhale, we're going to draw forehead into knees or as close as you can get. With the exhale, we'll release to our final Shavasana. Release all the limbs. Spread out, lay out,
and release.
Thank you so much for joining and sharing the practice today. If you are from the Minnesota, Minneapolis, St. Paul area, feel free to click the link in my bio as I have some in-person and virtual live classes that you can sign up for. Otherwise, I hope you all have a blessed day. Hope to see you at the next class, and namaste, yogis.